From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE, live from Santa Monica with your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. And a big message from Bernie Sanders' office to this channel, with the revelation that no less than 1 million of you have now reached out to Sanders' office, and they are overwhelmed by your message for that inclusion of that stimulus check. In this recording, we'll go over the $3.5 trillion package which passed, and the clusters in there that have passed. Hazard pay, elder care, cluster number 1. Cluster number 2, home repairs and paid leave. Cluster number 3, seniors and free internet. All the items are staying in there, say the progressives, nothing is being reduced. What's being modified on the back end? I'll explain in this recording. We have a lot of breaking news this morning, as the debt ceiling limit deal hatched late last night on the Senate floor. Then we have Maxine Waters, the number 1 legislator for the Financial Commission, saying that we need to do an extension of housing under fourth stimulus. Wow. Then we go over the big surprise, as now Sanders' office praises this channel and you for your advocacy for that IRS stimulus check inclusion. Oh my goodness. And then Nancy Pelosi and the president saying a vote on your recon by Halloween. Oh boy, here we go. Then we go over all the incredible details of what's unfolding with third stimulus, and I'm going to show you how to get big sums of money right today. As one viewer got $6,000 this week from my recording last week. I'm going to show you the path to financial independence by getting thousands of dollars this weekend, not 5 weeks from now, and not 5 months from now. We got a big morning. The toast is toasting, and the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing, and I'm here, you're here. It's time for Mornings LALATE, starting right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day across the globe. It is a warm and brisk day here, needless to say, as well. Well, in a day in which there is so much happening, let's go over all the details across the planet. We're going to go over the incredible details of your debt ceiling limit deal hatched late last night. We'll be going over the exciting details of third stimulus, that additional cash infusion. We'll be cutting back over the big surprise of that fourth stimulus recon that state passed and reportedly will remain passed with nothing being changed except the back end. What does that mean to you? I'll explain all the details in this broadcast this morning. We'll be cutting over to the statements from Maxine Waters this morning and also Sanders' office. We got a lot coming up, and it starts right now, and this is Mornings LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's go right into that big exclusive starting right now. Bernie Sanders' top aide in D.C. sent another message to a viewer of this channel overnight. And the message you're going to see for the first time on this channel starting right now. Sanders and Representative Sheila Jackson Lee said that through yesterday, they have now received 1 million contacts from the people of LALATE and Purple Power. The advocacy is making waves that this is the first time many of these elected officials and their staff have truly heard from the people. And now they have not only have heavy hearts, but a renewed sense of urgency to help out us so we get to good work. Our advocacy has been so strong, so heartfelt, and so polite, and never just for ourselves, but for the entire communities. Wow, there you go. That is the face of advocacy, and advocacy has been felt across the Senate floors. Sanders' office has been telling the viewer of this channel over the last week that the congressional leaders have heard you in your advocacy for that inclusion of stimulus into that recon, that they're discussing it, keeping your messages in heart, and we're going to go over more about that advocacy coming up in a second. Remember, The $3.5 trillion recon is a package that they can add to, and they vowed they will be adding it to there. Let's go over the first three clusters that passed when they voted on that recon. 2 weeks ago, Senate House subcommittee passed a $3.5 trillion recon, and those clusters are staying in there, say the progressives. Let's go over each of them starting right now. Cluster number one, checks, hazard pay, and $4,000 for elder care. What are these checks? Well, it starts with hazard pay. They took the earned income tax credit and old tax code, broadened the eligibility so more people qualify for it, and expanding the payout so more essential workers get bigger sums of money each year. Then up to $4,000 a year to care for the elderly. Then up to $4,000 a year to care for a young child. They got home repairs. If you live in a low-income community, you'll get free checks from the federal government to make those home repairs. College students are getting grants. Coming to university, to the student, and also the Pell's grant tax-free. $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks got in there. The CTC tax credit broadened, so now up to $300 a month every month for up to 18 years per child. If that household is a low-income household, that's $51,000 a child. Then they got money in there for bikes, cars, and trucks, all electric and all U.S. auto manufacturer. How much? Up to 15% for the purchase price of a new electric bike. Then up to $7,500 for a new electric car, personal use, a little bit more for business use, and then also electric truck. Well, in a second, we'll be going to the second cluster of checks, but breaking news this morning, and if you remember, you saw the breaking news last night. Maxine Waters sent out a news statement late yesterday. Maxine Waters is not only a representative from here in Los Angeles, but she's also chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee. She says that the forced stimulus recon has more money in there for rent. Wow. That was a surprise to me. I didn't know it. There's a lot of items in this recon. How much money? $300 billion in there for rent. In forced stimulus, in addition to the money in third stimulus for rent. Now, she's concerned that they're going to try to take out that money for rent or reduce it. And so she issued a statement yesterday. I'll explain more about that statement. But the great news is that there's additional $13 billion for rent under third stimulus that went out, and viewers are now getting it. Treasury is happy to provide state and local governments with these additional resources to help Americans in time of mental assistance. I said, take this message and go to your local authority to get the money. And Prina did. Here's what Prina writes yesterday. LALATE, I want to thank you. When you mentioned the additional $13 billion going out to the state, I automatically pounced. And I emailed the city of Austin and once again informed them of what I could get. And I want to thank you. I got the application on Thursday. I filled it out, and I'm now approved for rent from November to January, $6,000 for 8 months. Wow. There you go. In less than 7 days, my recordings got someone else those money. I'm going to show you how to get this big money as well for yourself. Coming up later in this video, we have a lot of money, big money for you to get this week, not 10 weeks from now, this week. But now let's cut to the second cluster checks that are in that $3.5 trillion recon, and they are these: home repairs and paid family leave. Cluster number two's checks include a lot of items. Now remember, everything in this recon is not COVID related. It's just life in general. And so cluster number two starts with paid family and medical leave. What is this? It is up to $1,700 a week if you make $80,000 or more under third stimulus. So if you make less, let's split it in half. $35,000 annual salary, $800 a week. Split in half. $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. Family leave, you have to stay at home because your wife is pregnant. Medical leave, you have to stay home because your son broke his leg. They got also in there checks for weatherizing your home. Definitely needed, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. What I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House. And whenever possible, keep them also out of the Senate. Then they got checks in there for tax credits, household tax credits, child care programs, and then checks for seniors like dental and vision. More about those in the third cluster. They got checks in there for pre-kindergarten, totally free, and community college, absolutely free. Definitely needed for people who say, I don't know what the world LATE's saying. Now you can take that class called What the World's LATE Saying, LATE 101. And if you want to take the advanced foreign language class, it's called Los Angeles, LATE 202. Later in this video, we'll be going over all the excitement of the third cluster. But first, what is Congress doing? Well, you know how you love dates. You love dates. Wendy Wen loves some dates. And here you go. Number one, The House and Senate will be working on the recon this weekend, so stay with me. There's a lot of developments anticipated this weekend. They'll be working on the recon next week as well. Where? In subcommittees. Do the subcommittees broadcast themselves? One or two appear on YouTube, actually, live stream, but the most do not broadcast themselves. But is someone going to tell you something otherwise? Yeah. Get ready for those faux publications that are going to say they're not in session. Yes, I just want to tell you, House and Congress, House and Senate is not in session next week. That doesn't mean they're not working on the recon, because remember, the recon is done in the subcommittees, not on the House floor or the Senate floor. But we have a new date, because I know you love dates. Guess what Halloween is? It's time to vote on your recon. Yeah. Apparently, Nancy Pelosi and the president have now eyed the Halloween date as a date to call for the vote of the recon no later than Halloween. Wow. And also the bipartisan. The House will return for a vote on October 12th to pass the stopgap on the debt ceiling limit. Last night, the Senate passed a debt ceiling limit extension to December, only to December. Now the House will do a quick vote on that on October 12th, just for one day, and they'll be closing the doors and going back to their offices. So there we go. Time for that third cluster of checks. Wow, these are exciting. These are the president's clusters of checks, and they are deliciousness. Here we go. Checks for seniors, checks for free internet. What's in this third cluster? Free school almost for all checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for free internet, checks for farmers, checks for workers like independent contractors, and checks for seniors like dental, vision, hearing care, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. The president particularly likes this third cluster, and I do too, because the checks are instant savings to your wallet. How will the instant savings work? Here's an example. Number one, let's say you go to the pharmacist today to pay for a prescription that is $40. And you walk into the pharmacist and say, Mr. Pharmacist, I have a headache. Oh, you've been listening to Chris and Sinema too much. No, I just have a headache. Do you have a prescription for that? Yeah, seats for Similis. No. A prescription. Oh, yeah, it's $40. You take two $20 bills out of your wallet. Then when this becomes law, when you go to refill it, you may only have to take a one $20 bill out of your wallet. Next, they're going to offer free Wi-Fi. How? Every red, blue, purple state is going to offer that free Wi-Fi. The federal government's going to give them big money so they can launch their own internet companies and offer it free to you. All you have to do is say, what's the username and password on the Wi-Fi? The username is Mitch Lobster, and the password is $12 ice cream. There we go. Coming up later in this video, we'll go over all the exciting details as how they modify a recon, and what they modify on the back end doesn't impact you. But I'll explain to you what they talked about with this today, what Maxine Waters is talking about with this item, and not removing items and not reducing it. So why is she concerned? I'll explain all the details. I'll explain to you also what is going on with the modifications across the board. But first, let's turn to that IRS stimulus check. Well, you saw the opening graphic. Bernie Sanders' office is now overwhelmed by your advocacy. So impressed, and they absolutely adore your advocacy. It is all because that the recon is a package. It's not a bill. The recon is a package, and it passed in the $3.5 trillion vote 2 weeks ago in a House subcommittee. That's not etched in stone. That's not etched. That is not an actual closed book bill. It's actually a package to which they can add in. All those Democratic leaders, House and Senate, over the last 8 weeks have told viewers of this channel they will add it in. Two ways you can add it in. So let's go over the two ways you can add it in. You can add it in on the House side, and you can add it in on the Senate side. On the House side, you would rely upon an AOC and Omar Jalapal to add it into what Sheila Jackson, the number 2 House leader for the Progressives, is writing on the House side. They can add it on the House side, or they can add it in on the Senate side. Adding on the Senate side means the 2-day vote-a-rama. Remember, the senators would vote last. That's exclusive you're hearing on this channel. And the senators, during that 2-day vote-a-rama, make amendments. They make changes to what's ever given to them from the House. Who determines what things go for a vote, which goes first, which goes second? Chuck Schumer. And who told a viewer this week and told a viewer last week he's putting a monthly stimulus check in there? Chuck Schumer's office. Oh, Boy, that is a biggie. That is a biggie. Now remember, this channel is not Dora the Check Explorer. This channel is not Dora the Check Explorer. It's about advocacy. It's about saying what you want and what you need. Because legislators can make promises and not keep them. Legislators can put things in there and take them out. You see what's going on with Maxine Waters coming up later in this video with the housing. They can provide for something and then unprovide for it. So you need to advocate across the board. But the incredible details is that Bernie Sanders' office is overwhelmed by your advocacy. I'll explain more about these incredible details, why this channel is now the forefront for anything about this subject matter. It is a big one. It is a big item. And we'll have more about these incredible details. But first, let me show you how you get some big money for rent and utilities, because that money you can get right now. It's third stimulus. And I'm going to show you how you get this big money and how financial independence starts right here. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Mornings LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now, live from Santa Monica, as Mornings LA continues. We got a lot coming up in the second half of this video. We'll be going over all the dramatics for that $3.5 trillion recon and what's staying in and what's going out. We'll go over what the modifications mean to you and what they don't mean to you. We'll go over all the calculations across the board. We'll be cutting back over to the exciting details of third stimulus. One viewer during the commercial break said, Terry, said, we need money right now. Third stimulus is very available right now, and I can show you how to get that big money. Don't wait for SSI reform. This is money right now, including money for SSI and SSDI. Thank you for your great comment. Then the incredible details of what's unfolding next, as this channel has now taken the forefront for the advocacy for that IRS stimulus check. We'll go over all the details, and we'll go over the big money you can get this week and this weekend. It's big money, and it starts right here, because this is what this channel is about, getting you money. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hog, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. With that, let's go over a little bit of the dramatics that unfolded last night, because boy, big surprises. Number one, the debt ceiling limit deal hatched last night in the Senate. It's not a permanent one. It's only to December. So the Senate has passed the debt ceiling limit deal. It now goes over the House. They're voting on it on October 12th for just one day and closing doors. So that is done. Number two, the speech that Chuck Schumer said to pass the debt ceiling limit, he really went in. He really went in. People said he went in a little bit too deep, and maybe it was angst because he wants this recon done. Number two, Democrats are now eyeing a potential deadline, a date of Halloween to call the vote on the recon. Now let's repeat. It's them saying it, not me. So don't say LALATE said I'm getting a check by Halloween. No, I didn't say that. I said that they are representing, they're going to get the vote for the recon, both the recon and the roads and bridges by Halloween. That is why they're working on the legislation this weekend. So now let's go over how they go over this IRS stimulus check provision and really what's at issue. Let's cut back to that incredible message I led with at the top of the hour, which was this. Representative Bernie Sanders' office, Senator Bernie Sanders' office, his top aide, not a staffer, not a secretary, sent this incredible message to a viewer who then relayed it to me. And Sanders' office reports the following, that through yesterday, they had received nearly 1 million contacts from the people of LA and the Purple Power, and the advocacy is making waves, meaning it's being heard across the Senate offices of the elected officials. This is the first time many of these elected officials and their staff have truly heard from the people, and they have not only have heavy hearts, but a renewed sense of urgency to help us out so we get good work. Our advocacy has been so strong, so heartfelt, and so political, so polite, and never just for ourselves, but also for the communities. And that is why advocacy starts here. It was no less than 8 weeks ago I said pick up the phone and advocate for inclusion of that IRS stimulus check monthly, and WR did. Longtime viewer of this channel called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, advocate for it, and Senator Chris Coons said, yes, it's going in there. It was about 3 weeks ago that things started changing very quickly. You saw me delivering a lot of exclusives. For example, I told you that the House would write the recon. They did. Representative Sheila Jackson wrote the legislation. She's the number 2 progressive on the House side, and had that vote in the House floor, that House subcommittee 2 Saturdays ago. Number 2, I told you that the House would vote first in the subcommittee. They did, and that the House will vote next on the House floor. They will. And I also told you Bernie Sanders supported the equation. Bernie Sanders is the guy who got the $3.5 trillion price tag for you. More about that later in a second. So I said, pick up the phone and advocate. And Bernie Sanders at the time said 3 weeks ago, unlike prior budget chairman of the Senate, I like to get out amongst the people when I'm doing a recon. Well, that means he wants to hear from you. He wants you to pick up the phone and advocate. And Brother Joshua did, Lynn Glenn did, and Margaret did that week. They advocate. They said why I need it. Now, if you're new to this channel, let me explain what advocacy is and also what advocacy isn't. Advocacy involves telling your unique story. Everyone has a unique story. I need the money because. Every sentence ends with a period. No sentence ends with a question mark. Every sentence is about your unique story. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's business, maybe it's medical, maybe it's family. I need stimulus. I need this money because. I need this because of my community, my church, my family, my business. Let me tell you why. The elected officials, they may not know your town. They may not know your community. They may not even know your state. But they can certainly resonate to a well-said statement. And that's what these elected officials, I said, would do. If you flood their phone call banks with impressive, polite, respectful advocacy, saying, I need it because, then they'll talk. And they'll say, have you been getting those phone calls? Yeah, I have. And that's what Sanders' aide said. Your messages have been overwhelming, and that they're keeping logs of them, and they are all getting them, and they have never thought they would get so many, and they have never seen in the history of modern politics so many calls at the same time. 1 million from this channel. So that's why your advocacy works. Brother Joshua at the time picked up the phone and advocated. Now let's go over what is not advocacy. What is not advocacy? Dora the Check Explorer. Yeah, Dora the Check Explorer. Calling up and just asking a lot of questions. Is there going to be a check? Is it in the bill? Is it amount? When am I getting it? Will we be getting one? First of all, there is no bill yet. It's a package. The package can have stuff added to it, and as Maxine was, you can go see later in this video, can have stuff removed from it. All the legislators over the last few weeks have told no less than 1,000 viewers on this channel that they will be adding it in there. They can add it on the House side, they can add it on the Senate side. It's a future tense for adding it in there. So there's no reason why you would ask about something past tense, because no past tense event has occurred. It's a future tense event that they're representing. But no one also wants to hear people asking a lot of questions. So do not be Dora the Check Explorer. advocate. And that's what Brother Joshua did. He picked up the phone and advocated for himself, his family, his church, his community. He's a longtime viewer to the channel and a 2020 volunteer to the community page. And he advocated. And Bernie Sanders' office said, yes, $1,000 or $1,300, but 3 to 6 months, but Sanders needs to hear from you. Sanders needs to hear from you because he wants to show that to other people. Look at this advocacy. Now, it's at that point that Donnie picked up the phone. And Donnie's wife last week picked up the phone also. And she called Chuck Schumer's office. And Chuck Schumer's office said, yes, it's going in there after she advocated. What's important to understand is that advocacy is not last in time. Some people have been playing sort of a Dora the Explorer game of saying, oh, what's the latest update? What's the latest? Who called today? Who called the last 10 minutes? Who called since in the last 15 seconds? Remember, it's a very complicated production operation we have here. And if you don't see a graphic made in the last 10 minutes of who called 10 minutes ago, it doesn't mean the situation has changed since yesterday. It's just my fingers don't have enough time to push all those buttons. Here we go. Here's Dottie. This is what Dottie wrote. I called and I advocate. I say I need my city needs and my family needs. I need it for my water and everything I need to progress. And Sanders' office saying it's going in there. Hurricane Dina calling and advocating. And Sanders' office saying it's going in there. Here's Carolyn Smith writing and saying people are losing their homes. They're losing everything. And Sanders' office saying it's going in there. Yaya picking up the phone calling Ron Wyden saying she needs it. And Wyden's office saying it's get in there and SS200. We learned the importance of advocating with not one office, but 2 offices, 3 offices, as many offices you call, because this is not Dora the Check Explorer. You're not looking for an answer to validate your belief of the situation. You're calling up to advocate because it's a work in progress. And that's what Will did. He picked up the phone, called Bernie, he called Chuck, and he called Liz Warren. And he told his situation and why it would change him dramatically. And all 3 offices said, yes, it's going in there. And Liz Warren saying $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Lorica picking up the phone and advocating as well. And Bob Casey's office confirming the same. Viewers who have advocated to the following offices are Coons, Sanders, Warren, and Schumer, and Casey, and Wyden, all coming back with saying that they will add it. This is big because senators vote last. Senators have the opportunity to add it during vote-a-rama at the very end if the House members don't take care of it for them ahead of time. But who are the House members who I said to advocate to? Omar, Jalapal, AOC, Sheila Jackson, the number 2 in the House Progressives. And viewers started to do that as well. The incredible Janice, bless her soul, she just calls everyone. She called Omar, advocated. Omar said it going in there. She called Jalapal, and advocated Jalapal, and their office says going in there. Lynn Glenn, here she is again. She kept on advocating. She called Jalapal, same message after advocating. And Ida calling Omar and kept on advocating. This is what the face looks like. Oh, and I forgot Debbie. Here's Debbie yesterday. I totally forgot. This is Debbie yesterday. She called Warren and Sanders. Liz Warren again and advocating and yes, going in there. This is why Sanders' office is so impressed with you. And that is what advocacy gets you. Advocating for the inclusion of those items. Again, 2 opportunities to add things. 1, when they're working on the recon on the House side, or 2, when they get it on the Senate side. Now, why is the Senate so important? The Senate votes last, as I've been exclusively reporting. The Senate votes last during a vote-a-rama at the very end of the whole process. 2 days of a vote-a-rama. Who determines what votes first during that vote-a-rama, which is a series of amendments, changing whatever they got from the House? Who's the guy? Chuck Schumer. Who's the guy that told viewers this week and last week that he's adding in a monthly stimulus check? Chuck Schumer's office. Yeah, that's a biggie. You want to see that help on the front end, on the House side, and the back end on the Senate side. All right, now let's turn to the recon itself to understand what's getting modified and what's not getting modified and what the representations are, but what Maxine Waters said today. We've gone over those 3 clusters of checks, but the progressives, AOC, Omar, Jalapal, Bernie, and Liz all say all items are staying in there. And moreover, no item will be reduced, says all of them, including Sheila Jackson. So what do they modify? Duration and taxes. What does that mean? Let me explain the details of this right now. First, duration. It was about 2 days ago where, no, about 4 days ago, I said they could change the duration if they want to. And then yesterday or the day before, Jalapal came out and said, yeah, we can change the duration. How did I know that was going to be this, what she was going to say? Because this is what Bernie did before. Back in the summer, Bernie had meetings with the Democratic senators saying, I want to do a recon. What price tag? And yeah, they were all in those meetings, including those two Democratic senators. And he said, I want 7 trillion. They said, no, Bernie, we're not doing 7 trillion. Okay, he said, I'll do half. I'll do 3.5. And they said, deal. And he said he was ecstatic because he got his programs paid 100% for. Now, how could that be? Let me show you an example. Let's take the $4,000 a year to care for the elderly at home. What Sanders could have done during those negotiations is walk in and say, I want it for 20 years, the program. So if you're still doing this in 19 years, you're still going to get that check every year. Instead, by bringing the number from 7 trillion to 3.5 trillion, he just cut the number of years the programs ran. So the programs are running less years. For example, maybe he cut the number of years from 20 years to 10 years for that $4,000 care to the elderly. He just shortened the duration. He didn't take the check you're getting paid to care for the elderly and cut that in half. He rather just had the program run less years. Jalapal explained in her statement why she thinks this makes sense to shorten it even more years, because if the program is a very popular program, then future legislators will be able to extend it very easily. If you've been with this channel for a year, you see that extending programs is very easy for Congress. So, for example, let's say if Bernie took it from 20 to 10 years, then now they could move it from 10 years to 7 years. So imagine if you're taking a program and reducing the number of years it runs by 3 years. That's 30% of how much you're cutting off of the program, but it doesn't cut off anything to you. You're getting the same amount of check each year. Instead, you wouldn't be getting it for, let's say, for example, 10 years. You would be, for example, getting it for 7 years. Same situation. Now let's deal with something on the other way to cut it on the back end. It's changing the tax rate, whether it's the corporate tax rate or the wealth tax rate, which is the billionaires. There's a lot of articles out about this today, and they're very fascinating. Let me just tell you what they're talking about. When we talk about the corporate tax rate, Biden came in with this recon at, I think it was 28%, and it's like currently 22% or something like that. And I said, Biden's going too high, but it is too low at the moment. And even Joe Manchin said the same thing. And Joe Manchin said 25%, and the president said deal. And yet somehow that 25%, that deal didn't stay there. It went back to 28%. No one thinks 28% is going to fly. So it goes to 25%. Well, once you slice it to 25%, then what happens? You're raising less funds to pay for the programs. Well, there's an interesting article out today that says the progressives and even some moderate Democrats believe they still want the tax rates to be as where they want them to be, not so much just to pay for the programs, but also to say, these particular corporations that are on the New York Stock Exchange that are Fortune 500 companies, you're paying nothing in taxes. We don't want to let you off by saying we're cutting someone's bike money or changing someone's hazard pay money. We want to make sure that you are still getting your taxes paid for by a change in the tax code. Very, very fascinating across the board. Now let's turn to Maxine Waters. If you remember this channel, you got the message that came out for me late last night, the PDF. Maxine Waters is, of course, the wonderful representative here in Los Angeles, but she's also the chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee. Unbeknownst to me, because I can't catch it all, there is an additional $300 billion in the fourth stimulus recon for rent. Whoa. So they put another $300 billion in that fourth stimulus recon for rent. That is a lot. I have my notes here. How much did they put in on third stimulus? So on third stimulus, they put $46 billion. And she wants to keep the $300 billion in fourth stimulus. That's a big difference. Now, what was her message yesterday? Is that she's worried they're going to reduce the amount of money. So let's just understand that even among progressives who say that nothing is coming out, nothing is being reduced, even a progressive like Maxine Waters is worried people are trying to reduce items. Here is a comment from Lisa Rice, President and CEO of the National Fair Housing Alliance, the release today, that says all the coalitions and industry groups are beating down on the White House to make sure all the provisions stay in the reconciliation budget bill. So very, very fascinating across the board. And with that, let's go to the big money under third stimulus. What's important for you to understand is that this channel is about financial independence, about financial freedom. We don't care what money is, as long as we get lots of it. If it's green and it's a nice dollar bill, we like it. And if you can get the money right now, then get the money right now. And I'm going to show you how to get money right now. I'm going to show you in the next few minutes how to get money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, clothing, appliances, food, utilities, and other items you never thought you were eligible to get or could get. And we're going to start with you getting a pen, paper, and cell phone ready. We're going to start first with the rent. And I want to show you this incredible message that came in from this wonderful viewer. But I'll start first with the rent. With the rent, viewers are getting big sums of money for rent. $40,000. For utilities, they're getting $15,000. And for the SNAP, they're getting $21,000. So let's go over each of them one at a time. For rent, you're going to reach out to 6 places. And reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility, different pots of money. Next, listen to the keywords I say in this video. Number 3, get ready for those nonprofits because they pay with different eligibility. Here are the 6 places you reach out to. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, and State House Authority. And the keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID. Mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Now, over the last week, I've said, if you remember this channel, which I hope you are, in the newsletter, you have that Treasury statement about the $13 billion. I want you to read that before you make the phone call so you know what you're asking for, because they all got it. They all got the money. Don't let them act stupid like they don't have the money. Red, blue, rich, poor, every state has the money. And that's what Prina did. Ellen, I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much. When you mentioned about the extra $13 billion that was going out, I immediately pounced and I emailed the city of Austin. And basically she goes on to say, in less than just a few days, she's now getting $6,000 for 8 months into January. That is huge. And that's what I want you to do for this rent. I want you to get this money of rent so far in the future as you can. Next, utilities. If you got 5 utilities, reach out to all 5. Margaret, who's gotten so many different items for this channel. Yesterday, she was in the live chat. She got another, I think it was $500 from another utility. Yes, I want you to keep on getting money. Money is money. If you're an Art Sullivan or niece who've gotten, $20,000 for the channel, go get more money today. All right, next, the nonprofits. If you've had any eligibility issue, if you think you just really have an eligibility problem, remember, the nonprofits pay for generally the same items on the third stimulus, but with different eligibility. Here are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. The next thing to remember about the nonprofits is that they pay for items that are not in the third stimulus. Some of them pay for clothing, utilities, small home things, like one viewer got a window fix, and then even appliances. 2 viewers getting refrigerators, another getting a furnace. They help with homeless people into shelter. They help with clothing. They help with a lot of wonderful things. So here again are the 5 nonprofits. They're also featured in the newsletter: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Next, money for SNAP. Boy, I can't believe that some families will now be getting $26,000 a year because I made videos. It's just overwhelming and very impressive. And that's what's going on. If you've never gotten a SNAP, you need to get it today. You pick up the phone, call Department of Agriculture. The eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. It is money for food, and it pays a fortune. Everyone's benefits going up an average of 25% a lifetime automatically in October. Mark's brother-in-law is going from $21,000 to $26,000 a year because of my recordings. Finally, let's go to those unemployment benefits. Yes, the one refund back from your state due to overpayment and computer error, it's landing in average payments about $2,000 to $5,000. And then the refund check back from IRS, where you pay taxes on the unemployment benefits. That check is anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Todd got it, Michael got it. If you've gotten any of these sums of money, please post in the live chat. In some of the live chats, I haven't seen a lot of people posting their success stories. Even if you posted before, please post it because you inspire other people to get that big sums of money. Finally, if you've not become a member, please do. The member newsletter is sent out by me daily, 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, that features all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus for you to get. That's why viewers like Johnny got 80,000, Mark 51,000, Lorraine 110,000. I want you to get these big sums of money because the money is available for you. Make sure you make 3 promises to yourself this week. First, to get as much money as you can right now under third stimulus. Take the money into 2022 is the message I've been saying, and that's what Prina did. She got her rent into 2022. Also, remember, you can apply at multiple different places and you can get multiple sums of money for the same item so long as they don't necessarily conflict. Then get as much money as utilities as you can, and finally lean on those nonprofits. Those nonprofits will take you as far as you can go. So if you are eligible for stuff with the nonprofits, get those items. The nonprofits are not getting a lot of phone calls yet. It's not yet winter. When winter comes on in, they are swamped. Viewers are reporting incredible quick turnaround times for rent from United Way and St. Vincent de Paul. Finally, I know it's October, but Salvation Army does Christmas gifts now, not in December. They do it now. So you have issues about Christmas gifts, get them right now from Salvation Army. Financial independence starts on this channel. It starts here right now. That's why this channel has gotten viewers $25 million of EIDL loans, $250,000 of rent last winter in the thick of winter in the middle of the pandemic. We've done it all this year long, but I want you to get this big money. I want you to go in the weekend doing what Johnny did several weeks ago. Johnny started the week knowing that there was no forced stimulus coming out at that moment, and he listened to my recordings, and he ended the week with $80,000 in his pocket. You just saw that one viewer. She saw my recording. She's out of Austin. And within less than a few days, she got $6,000 in her pocket. This is how you do things. You take money on the come, you get every penny of money, you get every item of money, and you get multiple items of money. And if you got money for rent from one place, you get money for rent from another place. Financial independence starts here and continues here. And coming up next is a whole slate of programming today. All new. We got a brand new Mornings Crypto live on air in just 2 minutes. Then we come back at noon time, 11 a.m. live on air, brand new show. Then afternoons LALATE at 3, and then evenings LALATE at 5. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Be part of this incredible family where news and information starts right now and financial independence continues throughout the day. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and coming up next, it's crypto, as Bitcoin is going to 50,000. Wow. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.